Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing the best books I read in 2022. This is me going through a bunch of different categories that I made up about books that I read this year and picking my favorite of those categories. So a book can only win one time, or, a few books would probably win all the categories. So I had to be a bit picky about that. There were 4 books I read that I didn't actually review on the channel. The first is Dead Snow, mainly because there wasn't a lot to talk about this book. The second is The Last Quintista, which was really good. I really liked it. I listened to it on Audible, but it's a middle grade, and I was like, I don't really know how much you guys care about that. A Tale of Two Cities, I didn't feel like I needed to review because everyone knows the story, and because I kind of forgot to review it. And then Prosperous Demon, I didn't review because the review just would have been like, I love this book. So there we go. So, let's start. Best title. That means actual title. And that is obvious. It is We All Died at Breakaway Station. That is the best title I've ever heard. So, yes, this one definitely wins that category. I don't even have to include any other titles because that one, hands down. Books that scared me the most. What Moves the Dead, The Dark Between the Trees, The Pain Eater, and The Hollows are the only 4 that kind of really fit that category because I didn't read too many horror this year. And so the one that I wasn't actually scared of 3 of them, so the only one that actually kind of creeped me out was The Hollows. So The Hollows wins this one. The book that made me cry the most. No books made me cry this year except for Immortal North. In that book, I cried for probably an hour. So Immortal North for sure. It is a devastating, powerful novel. I highly recommend it. It's really good. The most bonkers book that I read this year, there were some, enthralled. That's probably one of them. But Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon is actually the winner for this one because that book was wild. And I will still talk about that book forever because the idea that the moon is actually an alien spaceship is an amazing idea. Favorite new character. Escara from Along the Razor's Edge is in the running, as is Caral, the female predator from AVP Rift War, and Skelly, the talking skeleton from Little Bird. And of all of them, Escara I really, really identified with, and I really liked her character. So Escara is my favorite new character of the year. Best couple. So we've got Fault Tolerance, Bluebird, Two on a Tower, House in the Cerulean Sea, Under Fortunate Stars, Velocity Weapon, City of Dusk, and Fevered Star all have couples that I thought were really, really great. But the winner is Fault Tolerance with Ava and Vikar. I just love their cute little romance. It's so sweet and respectful and lovely. And it's an alien-human romance, and I love that. So, yeah, Fault Tolerance for sure. Most shipped couple. So, best couple is like the couple that I think works the best and I think had a great relationship. Most shipped couple was the one that had the most sexual tension, and that was Thry and Farron in Azura Ghost. It is brief, but I think I read the scene like 3 times because I was like, oh my god. So yeah. Biggest book crush. Now you know that Suruk from End of Empires is my ugly space boyfriend. But I have a new boyfriend, and that is Red Eye from Demon's Reign. Grouchy human wizard for the win. So yes, sorry to my husband. Yeah. And to Garrus Vicarian. You're still my celebrity pass. Best alien culture. So we've got Project Hail Mary, we've got Homeworld, we've got End of Empires, we've got XX, we've got the Bug Wars, we've got the Gillies from We All Died at Breakaway Station, we've got Rift War. Now Rift War I'm not going to give it to, even though predators are like one of my favorite kind of alien species. They're pre-existing. I'm not going to give it to a pre-existing alien species that is already canon and has movies and stuff. I'm sorry. So of all of these, the aliens I like the best were in End of Empires because they're so funny. There's so many of them. As I said, my ugly space boyfriend is one of them. And they're just like so great. I highly recommend you check out the Space Captain Smith stories. They are so much fun. I'm going to be reading the last one next year, I guess. I've been reading them for like 6 years. I just read them like one a year because I love them and I don't want the story to be over. Best start to a series. So this is like book 1. So Demon's Reign, I will give you a spoiler here. It's winning something else, so it will not win this, though it was tempted. In the Orbit of Sirens, Along the Razor's Edge, which already won something, Primitives, Ribakite, and Reinception. And honestly, I can't decide between Ribakite and Reinception, so they both win. They're both really, really great starts to a series. They're both kind of different. They're kind of slower, more thoughtful science fiction. They're both sci-fis. I highly recommend both of them, and I can't wait to see the rest of their series. Best book continuing a series, so not book 1. We've got Azura Ghost, Ashfall, Spawn of Spiracy, Feral Creatures, and Fault Tolerance. And I have to say, it's Feral Creatures. I really, really liked Feral Creatures. It was so fun. It was a great sequel to Hollow Kingdom, and it was great to kind of see where the story went from there. Also, all those other books have already won something else. Sorry, that was a loud laugh. Best independently published title, best self-published. So we've got Ribakite again, Spawn of Spiracy, Demon's Reign, In the Orbit of Sirens, and it's Spawn of Spiracy. Of course, I am obsessed with that, with his books, and I really want to read the third one, and I hope it comes out next year. So Spawn of Spiracy, there you go. The best indie book I read this year. Now, the best science fiction book generally that I read this year. There were a lot. All the ones I've already listed, as well as Stringers and Under Fortunate Stars. And I'd have to say it's Under Fortunate Stars. That one really, really surprised me. It came out of nowhere. I really liked it. It has time travel, which I usually don't like. It just had so much. It was just so fun. It had kind of everything I like in a book. And I mean, it wasn't the most perfect book ever, but of all the books that already aren't winning something, definitely I'd say it's probably the best sci-fi I read this year. The best fantasy, though, I mean, Spawn of Spiracy is up there, obviously. All the Seas of the World by Guy Gabriel Kay. I really liked that one. It's like a literary fantasy. It had some things that weren't the best for me. Along the Razor's Edge, of course. Nona the Ninth is up there because it's a good book. But the winner is Demon's Reign. I just listened to an Audible. I just reviewed it last week, and I literally am obsessed with it. So, Demon's Reign for sure. And it's also an indie book, so wow. Best novella? I only read a few novellas. These Prisoning Hills was good, but it was kind of all over the place. The Witch and the Wolf was really interesting for like a really short novella. But Prosper's Demon, if you guys have not read this book, you need to read this book. It is so interesting. It is a demon possession story. It's just fantastic. It's so compelling. My best historical fiction I read this year. We've got Unnatural Ends is one. Through a Darkening Glass is another. The Revenge of Joe Wilde was one I read as well. But the best one was Ashfall by Marquez Fenick. This is the third in her Siege of Malta trilogy. And guys, you should check out the 8 Point Across if you have not. I've talked about it many times on this channel, and it is a fantastic historical fiction if you like historical fiction. The best arc I read from NetGalley or that I received from publishers. So, The Hollows, Azura Ghost, Under Fortunate Stars, Fault Tolerance, Little Bird, Primitives, What Moves the Dead. There's a whole bunch of them, but it's Stringers. I love Stringers. Stringers was a great book. It was the best book I got from a publisher this year, and I got 28 books from publishers this year, so that's pretty good. Stringers is awesome. It's so funny. Best literary fiction. So we've got The Pain Eater, Light from Uncommon Stars, All the Seas of the World, I would argue, is a bit of a literary fiction. We've got Plenum. And this one I'm tied between Plenum and The Pain Eater. And I'm giving it to The Pain Eater. The Pain Eater is a book that had its flaws, but it's a book that sticks with me. I'm always thinking about it, like here and there. So I do think that it deserves kind of the best literary fiction, because I didn't read a ton of literary fiction this year. So, if you watched my best covers video a couple days ago, you'll know that I didn't tell you what my favorite covers were this year. So, I will start by saying the best classic sci-fi cover out of Armada, Earth's Last Citadel, and The Bug Wars is obviously the freaking Bug Wars, guys. Come on, you expected that. It's in my top 12. So, the other two were not. So, The Bug Wars is the best classic sci-fi cover from this year. I absolutely love the cover. It's so funny. Now, what do we have for the 12 contenders? So we have Velvet Dogma. The problem with Velvet, so all of these are top tier covers for me. I'm just going to kind of tell you why I don't think they win. So Velvet Dogma, the hand is weird. Getting really picky here. I think it's a beautiful cover. It's got a lot of movement to it. It's really intricate. It's interesting. It's compelling. But then her hand is like really weird. And so it kind of really distracts from the overall kind of aesthetic. So that one doesn't get win for that. Pellucid Witch. I really like it. I love looking at it. It is hand drawn though. I think it could have had a bit more color. I think it does feel a bit kind of hand drawn. And I mean, sometimes that works, but I think if they'd taken that kind of sketch and done more with it, it could have been amazing. Little Bird. I love Little Bird. It's such a fun cover. It's more quirky though than like aesthetically pleasing. It's a bit dark kind of in color, and I think it could have been a bit more vibrant, but I still think it's beautiful. These Prisoning Hills is absolutely beautiful. It's I don't have a lot to say about that one, actually, so we'll see about that. Enthralled, absolutely eye-catching, but I am not giving it to this book. It, too, is also kind of it's a bit cartoony, you know? I was kind of hoping for something that would win that's a bit more artistic, and I guess that's being elitist or something, but it's my channel. Prosperous Demon, absolutely wonderful cover. It's really cool. It really encapsulates kind of the idea behind the story. It's very artistic. I could like look at it all day. So yeah, there's that one. Mother Thing is absolutely awesome. I have no problems with Mother Thing whatsoever. Bug Wars already won. So Woe to the Victor. This is a great cover. It's a beautiful self-published cover as well. I mean, and covers are not cheap. So I think it does have a bit of a kind of a sketched quality to it, kind of like Pellucid Witch, but still like a top tier cover. Alien Vasquez. This book it's great. It's a really great cover. It's really fun. I love the perspective. Yeah, is it like the best cover of the year? No, but it's definitely up there. Manhunt, so clever, so funny. Disgusting though. So it's not gonna win. Demon's Reign, it's so fun and vibrant and beautiful and just like gives you like this just burst of energy just looking at it. I really like it. So I'd have to say the top 3 covers for me that are like the finalists: These Prisoning Hills, Prosperous Demon, Mother Thing, and okay, that's 4, and Demon's Reign. But if I had to pick from all 4 of those, the cover that I just love is Mother Thing. This cover is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic. It's quirky and weird, but it's artistic. It has a great tone to it. It's funny, but it's also kind of dark. It fits with the book. This cover, props whoever designed it. It's beautiful, and it is my favorite cover of 2022. So yeah, I hope you guys liked that. Let me know what your favorite books of the year were. Let me know what your favorite covers of the year were. And let me know who your book crush of the year was. But my 2 guys are off limits, okay?